Why to avoid screen time for kids? Let's be honest. We have all been guilty of giving in to our kids' demands for screen time. It's easy to underestimate how harmful this can be for your child. There are so many reasons why it is important not only to avoid screen time but also limit it as much as possible. Screen time can lead to poor sleep quality. Screen time takes away from other activities such as sports or playtime with friends. Screen time can result in anxiety, depression and even eating disorders and more later on down the line. It may feel like we're raising them too fast, but there are ways that you can encourage healthy development without exposing them too much to technology at this stage in their lives. Read on below for some tips on how best do this. The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends no screen time at under age of 2. This is because it can have a negative impact on sensory development in young children, causing them to be less physically active and social. Screen time is defined as the amount of time spent using any device or application that displays images such as televisions, computers, tablets and cell phones. Young children need to explore the real, tactile world around them to learn about it in a way that screen time simply can't provide. Screen time is great for helping young children develop their motor skills, but it can also have a negative impact on sensory development. Young children need to explore the real, tactile world around them in order to learn about it in a way that screen time simply can't provide. Touching and feeling are integral parts of early childhood development, and because screen time doesn't allow for this kind of exploration, it may interfere with your child's ability to develop as an active participant in life instead of just being able to sit still and play on screens all day long. Screen time can have a negative impact on sensory development in young children, since so much of what is presented on a screen is not real. Screen time can have a negative impact on sensory development in young children, since so much of what is presented on a screen is not real. The screen-based activities that children engage in may be stimulating and engaging for them, but they do little to prepare them for the real world where we need to be able to use our hands and eyes together. Sensory skills such as visual acuity are important for early childhood learning so that children can pick up information from their environment around them, that is, reading books. Screen time interferes with this process because it forces kids' eyes away from what's happening around them into an unknown space where there are no cues about how to interact with their surroundings or other people nearby. This lack of information leads many kids who watch screens non-stop through their entire childhoods without ever developing these important skills necessary for later life success. Children who spend too much time in front of screens are less likely to go outside and play, which can cause them to be less physically active overall. Children who spend too much time in front of screens are less likely to go outside and play, which can cause them to be less physically active overall. They're more likely to be overweight than their peers who don't watch TV or use computers. They're also less likely to drink water, eat healthy foods and do other activities kids should be doing anyway if you want them to grow up healthy. There is some evidence that too much screen time with certain kinds of electronic devices can increase anxiety and stress. There is some evidence that too much screen time with certain kinds of electronic devices can increase anxiety and stress. It's long been known that kids who spend a lot of time on TV, video games and computers tend to be more anxious than their peers who don't do so much tech. There are plenty of studies suggesting that this may have something to do with the way technology affects sleep patterns, meaning it can impact your child's ability to get enough rest at night and potentially cause them not only to be less physically active but also overweight. And there are even some studies linking screen use to poor school performance, a little disappointing news for parents who want their children to succeed academically. Studies have shown that too much screen time in early childhood can result in lower academic achievement down the road. This is because studies have found that too much screen time can lead to poor sleep habits and poor nutrition, which can affect cognitive development. Sleep, Poor sleep is associated with increased risk for obesity, diabetes and heart disease later on when children are adults. A lack of quality sleep also makes them more likely to be overweight or obese as well as suffer from depression or anxiety disorders later in life. Nutrition. Research shows that children who watch lots of TV tend not to eat enough fruits and vegetables, or any at all. Some kids may even turn away from healthy foods altogether if they feel they're missing out on something interesting on TV, and let's face it, we've all been there. Too much screen time has been linked to obesity, behavioral problems, poor school performance and sleep disruption in young children. It's not just the devices themselves that can be harmful. The amount of time you spend with them is also important, and studies have found that too much screen time has been linked to obesity, behavioral problems, poor school performance and sleep disruption in young children. In one study published by Pediatrics in 2017, researchers found that parents who had higher levels of media use, including TV viewing, were more likely to have overweight or obese kids than those with lower media use. Another study published by JAMA Pediatrics found similar results. Kids who watched more than 2 hours per day were at higher risk for being overweight or obese compared with those who watched less than 2 hours per day. Parents should not allow young children to spend too much time with electronic devices. Screen time for young children should be limited to no more than 1 hour per day, according to the American Academy of Pediatrics. Young children need to explore the real, tactile world around them in order to learn about it in a way that screens simply can't provide. The app says that parents should not allow young children under age 2 years old watch any television or videos on their electronic devices unless they're playing with them. So, what are you going to do about this? Well, the first step is to talk with your kids about screen time. They may not be able to tell you exactly how much they're using their devices, but they may know that they're using them a lot more than they used to. Parents should encourage their kids to play outside or at home instead of on screens. And if all else fails, get them interested in reading books again.